Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we are doing a video that I am so excited for. We are doing the mid-year book freakout tag. Now, in my time as a lurker in the background of Booktube for all of these years, I have probably watched dozens, if not hundreds of iterations of this video, and it is one of my favorite videos every year, along with like end of the year wrap-up type stuff. I love this tag. I am addicted to watching these videos. I love hearing all the different answers from people, and I am just so freaking excited to be participating and making my own version of this video this year. If you have watched these videos before, you know what's coming. It is 13 questions about the books that I have read so far this year and some of the things that I'm looking forward to upcoming. No better way to start than just to jump into it. So here we go. Question 1, best book you've read so far in 2022. This was, I believe, the first book I read this year, and also a book that I didn't even want to read, which I'm kicking myself for now because this was a 5-star read for me, and I love this author. I have read everything from her. I don't know why I didn't think I would like this one, but that is Malibu Rising by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I mentioned this in a previous video that I wasn't thrilled to jump into this. I think it's because I don't like the cover. I don't really like surfing. The synopsis really didn't speak to me. It's set in the 80s, which I was born in the 80s, but I don't really care much about the 80s. I don't care for the time period. And I just overall thought it would kind of be a meh for me. Absolutely not. This book is 5 out of 5 stars. Amazing. I love it. I think about it all the time. I'm actually considering doing a reread this year of it because I loved it so much. And I am so glad I just finally bit the bullet and picked it up. I don't know why I ever doubted Taylor Jenkins Reid. She is one of my absolute favorite authors. Almost every book of hers has been a hit for me. I apologize, TJR. I'm sorry I ever doubted you. Best book of the year so far, Malibu Rising. All right, question 2, best sequel you've read so far in 2022. So I do not read sequels. I don't read a lot of series books. That's just not my thing. But there is one series that I am really into and I really love it. And this is kind of a cheat answer because I'm actually in the middle of reading this right now. And that is Finley Donovan Knocks 'Em Dead. I love this series. I think this is so cute. I love these characters. These are a total win for me. I have not finished this yet, but I doubt that I'll read any other sequels throughout the rest of the year. And I'm sure this is gonna be another like 4 to 5 star for me. Loved the first one. This one is super cute. I'm not terribly far into it, maybe like 100 pages or so. I'm already loving it. It's just a great series. If you like murder mystery with a touch of funny, definitely check this series out. I see a lot of people compare it to that Netflix show Dead to Me. It's a lot like that. Kind of a bumbling female friendship with a series of unfortunate events that'll just like keep you laughing the entire time. Awesome series, definitely check it out. I'm sure this one will be a 5-star for me. All right, question 3, a new release you haven't read yet but want to. The next book I think when I finish Finley Donovan that I'm gonna pick up is One of Us is Dead by Geneva Rose. I've had this from my library for a little bit and I really want to get to it. I've heard great things. I've heard that it's just like a super fast paced, super easy, cute little murder mystery. I think I've heard that it's kind of a cross between like Gossip Girl and Pretty Little Liars or something. Either way, I think this is gonna be really cute. It's gotten a bit of hype recently and I'm just really pumped to try it out. The second book I wanted to add to this question is Lessons in Chemistry by Bonnie Grams. The book club that I participate in with all my girlfriends, that's our book club pick for this month. So I'm definitely going to get to it really soon. But I've heard awesome things about this book. I just pulled it up on Goodreads and this book has a 4.43 rating out of 45,000 reviews. So it's getting phenomenal ratings. They say it's kind of for people who like Where'd You Go, Bernadette and The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, actually neither of which I am familiar with. I haven't read or watched that show. But it just looks really cute. I think it's a little bit of romance, a little bit of an unlikely character, or an unlikely hero rather, with a lot of bit of feminism mixed in. And I just think this sounds really cute. I cannot wait to get to it. Okay, question 4, the most anticipated release for the second half of the year. I have 2 answers for this as well. First one is Upgrade by Blake Crouch. I love Blake Crouch's new stuff. I haven't dabbled into his older work, but I love Dark Matter. It's one of my favorite books of all time. I loved Recursion, and I am so excited for this next one. I believe it comes out next month, so I should be able to get my hands on it really quickly. This book sounds like it's kind of along the same lines as that movie Limitless that came out with Bradley Cooper a bunch of years ago, where Bradley Cooper's character takes like a pill and he just becomes like smarter and a better version of himself. And that's what this book kind of sounds like. It sounds like our protagonist gets an upgrade in his DNA that makes him like quicker, smarter, able to focus. And obviously Blake Crouch is a great sci-fi writer, so from there on out, chaos ensues. I believe our protagonist is trying to get this procedure from happening to just regular everyday people because I assume something is going to go very wrong. I Either way, I am sure it's going to be another one for me. Based on my history with Blake Crouch, he really can do no wrong in my eyes. He is one of my favorite sci-fi authors. I just love everything he does, so I'm super, super excited for this to come out. My second answer for this is, of course, Carrie Soto is Back by Taylor Jenkins Reid. This one is kind of a companion novel to Malibu Rising if you haven't read that one. Carrie Soto is a minor character in Malibu Rising, and so this one is all about her. She is a pro tennis player. She kind of dabbles with our main character in Malibu Rising's husband, so there's kind of some there. I'm really, really excited for this release. Like I mentioned, Taylor Jenkins Reid at this point can really do no wrong for me. I have read everything that she's released. I love her stuff. And because I think it's going to take place in the same world as Malibu Rising, I think it's going to be a win for me. So I'm very, very excited to check this one out. I think this one comes out in August. Don't quote me on that, but I think it's in August. All right, question 5 is your biggest disappointment so far in 2022. My answer for this one is A History of Wild Places by Shay Earnshaw. I think this one was a big disappointment for me because overall I think it was really mismarketed. The synopsis on this book mentions a detective who can find missing people because he has this sort of sixth sense. It kind of invokes this magical realism, and that's what really kind of drew me into the story. Turns out that is like a very minor 25-page portion of this story, and if you've read this book, you know what it's going to be compared to a very popular movie that came out, I don't know, within the last like 15 years. It's nearly the same premise. And so for that reason, I thought it was really disappointing. I just didn't get what I was looking for in it after reading the synopsis. Ultimately, it ended up just being a 2-star for me, probably mostly because I was disappointed. I think if I had gone into it with a different mindset, thinking it was something differently, I may have liked it a little bit better because the formula is there. But overall, this one just disappointed me. All right, question 6 is the biggest surprise of 2022. This one was a book that I don't think I've seen talked about at all on Booktube, and I am shocked because this book was a 4.5 star for me. I loved this, and it was The 22 Murders of Madison May by Max Barry. This is kind of along the lines of a Blake Crouch Dark Matter style situation where we're following a journalist who is looking into the murder of a real estate agent named Madison May, and what she comes to find out is that there are different dimensions of our world, basically parallel universes, which is a trope that I love, but there are parallel universes where a man has kind of learned how to jump from universe to universe and pursues this woman, Madison May, in each universe and is killing all the versions because he doesn't think that she's living to her potential. That's kind of a very surface level synopsis. Go read into it a little bit more to really get to the meat of it, but I loved this. I thought it was a super unique concept. I love time travel. I love the idea of different dimensions, which is probably the reason I love Blake Crouch so much. It's a great beginner sci-fi. It's super, super fast paced and overall just really unique. This journalist ends up trying to follow the man who's killing this woman throughout the dimensions, but kind of quickly realizes that she can never go back. So every dimension that she leaves, she's leaving that version of her life and arriving in a different version where things might be slightly different or very different. In the process of trying to continuously save this woman from this man who's kind of stalking her through dimensions, she's also giving up these lives. It kind of ends up being like this inner morality battle. Does she continue trying to save this woman and hopefully kill this man so he stops doing this while also leaving these worlds behind and everything that she knows and loves? It was a great book. I really loved it. Definitely go check it out. I cannot believe this hasn't gotten more play on Booktube. I think it's an awesome book. It's a super eye-catching cover. And yeah, if any of this sounds appealing to you, definitely go check it out. I think this book deserves a little bit more love than it's gotten. All right, question 7 is a favorite new author, either a debut or a new to you. So this is a new to me author. The first book I read from her this year is her second memoir. I actually have the audio for the first one from my library right now. I just haven't started it. But that is Jessie Klein, and the book that I listened to from her first is I'll Show Myself Out. It was a new release this year, and it's just a memoir on life and motherhood. This woman is hysterical. She is so freaking funny. Her brand of humor is right in line with what I love. She is very Amy Poehler. She is very Tina Fey. She narrates her own audiobooks and they are just hysterical. Her delivery is absolute perfection. This book also was a 4.5 star for me. I loved it. Obviously, I heavily relate to the motherhood aspect of this. She actually was a writer on SNL for a very short period of time. She claims she wasn't terribly successful at it, but I don't know how that's possible because she is so flipping funny. She now, I believe, is like the executive producer and like writer for like that show Big Mouth. I've never watched that, but I think it's like an animated show on Netflix or something. She's a writer on Inside Amy Schumer. She's a writer for Dead to Me. She is just so flipping funny. I remember I was listening to this and my daughter and I were like out for a walk in the neighborhood and I was laughing out loud, probably looking like a crazy person. Please go check this book out. 4.5 stars for me. I absolutely loved this. I cannot wait to dive into her first book. If you think any of the things I've mentioned are funny or that is your brand of humor, absolutely check out Jessie Klein. You will not regret it. All right, question 8, newest fictional crush. I went back through all the books I've read this year looking for somebody I may have like crushed on, and there really isn't anyone. There weren't a lot of redeeming male characters in the books that I've read this year. So I'm just gonna have to go ahead and say Patroclus from The Song of Achilles. I know he might not really be into me. I'm not really his brand. He's just a character you fall in love with. He's just wonderful. He just has like a sweet little place in my heart now. So although my feelings may not be reciprocated for obvious reasons, I think my newest fictional crush is probably Patroclus. All right, question 9, newest favorite character. Same thing, I went back through all my books just to see if somebody stood out, and I think the one that stood out the most is Scarlett Clark from They Never Learn by Lane Fargo. This character is just really cool. I really loved her. I loved her character description. If you're not familiar with this story, it is about a woman, our main character, Scarlett Clark, who is an English professor on a college campus, and she's kind of also a low-key murderer. She pinpoints the men that are predators to women, and I believe she like takes one out every school year and arranges for them to be killed. She's a total badass, and she does it while looking good and feeling good and being like brilliantly smart. And I just thought she was awesome. This book was actually another 4.5 stars for me. I'm actually kind of blown away by how many books I've really liked this year. But either way, Scarlett Clark is an awesome character. If you haven't checked out this book and you like this kind of academia, feminist, tough, cool woman out to get the bad guy, definitely check this book out. It's really great and I just loved this character. All right, question 10, a book that made you cry. Only one book has made me cry this year, and that is the book that I just did a vlog about a few days ago, and that is The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. The ending of this book is just gut-wrenching. Incredibly written, so beautiful. I think I said in that vlog that I just want to go back and read like the last 30 pages again to just like get the feels. This whole book is just beautiful. It's a work of art, but those last like 30 to 40 pages are just so sad. I said it in that vlog, but do not read this book if you're like doing your makeup or getting ready or you have somewhere to be, because you will not be able to leave the house. You're gonna have to like wash your face and start over again. You're probably gonna be all sinusy and backed up because this one is a super tearjerker. 5 stars for me. Loved it. All right, number 11, a book that made you happy. So this one, it's not a stretch in that it made me happy, but I didn't want to double up and use the Jessie Klein book again because that one made me super happy and made me actually laugh out loud. So I wanted to go with something different, and I will explain what about this book made me happy. But the book is Off With My Head by Stassi Schroeder. Okay, I know. She's this reality queen, TV like villain. I get it, I understand. But you have to understand that 10 years ago when Vanderpump Rules was big, I was in my mid-20s and I like just wanted to work at SUR. I wanted to move to LA, I wanted to be a waitress there. I thought these people were just like cool to the nth. So I've been like a Stassi, you know, fan, if you will, whatever, for a long time. So I actually listened to her 2 books back to back. I listened to the first one. It's very reality TV villain. It's very juvenile. It makes you roll your eyes a lot. She talks endlessly about being a basic bitch, but it was, you know, entertaining, fine, easy to listen to in the car. Immediately picked up this one. And the difference is hard to describe. In just the few short years between her writing these 2 books, she just matured so much and is just so much more relatable as an adult woman to me. In her second book, she is getting married. She has her daughter. She's living like a real life. She is no longer on reality TV because, in her words, she has been canceled for reasons that are valid. She did some not so great things and was essentially dropped from all of her sponsors, from her show, from the people that put on her podcast. And so she really just got like the rug pulled out from under her and really humbled her. And she's just a very funny person to begin with. She's got this really funny attitude and I really liked it. It actually made her really relatable. So if you have any interest at any point in Vanderpump or Bravo reality TV and have any interest, pick it up. It's not bad. I mean, yeah, is it a reality TV star memoir? Of course. I actually really enjoyed it, and I really enjoyed getting to know her a little bit better as like an adult woman. The first book is all like ridiculousness. This one was actually like kind of a good deep dive into her life and her reality, and just made her way more relatable, and I really liked it. All right, if you're still with me after that admission, thank you very much. But question 12 is the most beautiful book you've bought so far this year. Now, you guys aren't gonna believe this. I went back through all of my books and looked through everything, and I have only bought 3 books this year. That is crazy for me, coming from a girl that used to place 2 or 3 book outlet orders a month a few years ago. So I am just super proud of myself. I mean, I'm not gonna tell you to pat me on the back, but anyway, back to the question. I think they're all beautiful. There's only 3 of them, so I'll tell you about all 3. 1, The Song of Achilles. Obviously, beautiful book. Love the teal, love the gold. So pretty. Beautiful book. The other one I just picked up the other day for $1 at my library. My library has like a bookshelf outside of it, and you can just like pop a book in there and take any of the books. And I picked up this one, Beneath the Scarlet Sky. This was something I started, God, maybe like 2 years ago. Got like 30, 50 pages in, put it down. Not a huge historical fiction fan, but I do think this is an important one to read. I have been wanting to get back into it. Saw it for $1, figured I'd pick it up. Also, very beautiful. Look at these colors, my gosh. The one book that I bought that I think is the prettiest, I actually just picked it up last week, and that is The Hotel Nantucket by Ellen Hildebrand. I've said it before in videos. I don't know why Ellen Hildebrand doesn't get more talk on Booktube. I think she's awesome. I love her. In fact, she just did her like Northeastern tour for the release of this book, and she was coming to a bookstore that was just a few hours away from me, and I had planned to go to her book signing. Yes, that's right. But I didn't get my butt in gear, and I couldn't snag a ticket. So, poo on me. But either way, I support her, and I will pick up her book because I just like her stuff. I've read a bunch of them. I think she's great. These aren't like deep plots or anything like that, but I like her stuff, and it's perfect stuff for summer. And yeah, I think this book is really beautiful, because if I had a choice, this is exactly where I would be, mojito included. And our last question today, what books do you need to read by the end of the year? Went through my shelves, thought about what I really wanted to get to, and you could list dozens here, right? We all have these extensive TBRs, but there is one book that I really need to get to by the end of this year. And that is because I have read about 85% of it already. And it's by one of my favorite authors. And I have loved everything that I've read so far. But I probably put this down about 4 months ago, and I am just going to have to start all over again because I want to give it the love and the time and attention it deserves, and I don't just want to half-ass this one. So one of my priorities in the next few months here is to sit down and restart, and I'm so embarrassed to tell you guys what it is because it's become a Booktube cult classic. Everyone loves this book. I know I'm gonna love this book. I just have to sit down and give it the time and attention. And that is Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir. The Martian, one of my favorite books of all time. Love it. This book, I love it. I mean, when I tell you 85%, guys, I'm not kidding. I'm on page 418. I mean, 85% is an understatement. I'm on page 418 of 475. How embarrassing. I'm within 50 pages of the ending. But because I haven't opened it up in like 4 months, I really just want to start it over and really give it its due attention. I am absolutely mortified that I am almost done with this and put it down for so long. I don't know why I did that. Just finish it, right? But if you've seen my cleaning up my Goodreads video, you know that I have a history of doing this. So I guess I can't say I'm really that surprised. So yeah, priority number 1 for the next few months is to sit down, start this one over. I know once I restart it, I'm gonna blow through it in a few days. I love it. I love everything I've read so far up in this book. I just have to push myself to get to it. All right, guys, that is it. My very first mid-year book Freakout tag. I cannot tell you how excited I am to be able to participate in this year. I used to watch these videos and like come up with my own answers, but because I didn't have a YouTube page, I just ended up like throwing them in the garbage. But now I actually get to make my own video about it and share it with you guys. So yeah, thank you guys so much for checking out this video. I appreciate the support. I appreciate the follows. You guys have no idea how much it means to me that you come and watch these videos and allow this lonely stay-at-home mom to connect with other book lovers. I have loved my first 6 months here on YouTube, and just thank you guys for every comment, every like, every view. I am just having like the time of my life doing this. I absolutely love it, and I am so glad every day that I finally got the balls to start the channel. All right, now I'm gonna go watch a bunch of these that you guys put up, because when I say I am addicted to this tag, I am addicted to this tag. I just love it. It's like my favorite one, honestly. All right, guys, thank you again so much. Until next time, I will talk to you guys soon. Bye.